This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. Today we're going to take a look here at gold, the ETF GLD, and the ETF for the miners GDX. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at them at the daily and weekly on each one of them, and then we're going to put them all side by side so you can see all the comparisons. All right, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Here we have gold, your daily and your weekly chart. Now you can see here the really nice run up that we've had all the way from the bottom here of this 25.96. We ran up here to a very real nice high here of 35.09, and then we had this consolidation. Wow, but you can see here how nice this chart is moving on up. See how we have this low? We have a higher low and a higher low situation. That's always what you want, is bottom left, upper right. But now what we're going to do is we're getting to this overbought condition. See how we have here now? If we just look at the past, where we had this overbought, and then, okay, then what it is sold right on down. Okay, then we have this other overbought, and what happened? It's sold right on down, another overbought, and then it's sold down. So just be a little bit careful on what's going to go on here. Now, the big reaction, I say, to these commodities is going to be that CPI number and PPI number. That's going to be very, very key this week, and that's going to be based on what the Fed is going to cut. I think they're going to cut 25 basis points. And then we got to see how they're going to lay it out going in the future. That's going to be the very key. Are they going to keep on making cuts, or is this like a one and done? But we got to see if that inflation starts coming in here. It's going to make Fed's job very, very difficult. Okay. Now, when we were down in this area here, I said we have to watch the top of that candle at that 35.09. Okay, so what we did is we hit this 34 level. But that was a double top, and you can see how it came right on down. Right? Then it just kind of like regrouped and consolidated. Then once we busted through that 34 level, then she just ran up here very, very nicely. Now you can see here how we ran up. We got outside these blue lines, which are just price channels, and they act like Bollinger Bands, except I think they're more accurate because all they are just tops and bottoms of candles, which makes life a lot easier. Okay, see? So instead of looking at here, all I got to do is take this line, bring it right across. There's the bottom there. I can come right out here. That's the top of that candle. Very, very easy. Now we had a little consolidation situation. Now we're getting right back up. We have a possible topping tail. Now, right now, the price is sitting at 36.82. I just said when we're down here, we're going to be rallying right on up here to that 3700 level. And we have to get above it. That's the key. So right now, I say you're sitting at 36, roughly 82 level, but you have to close above that 3,700. I think that's going to be the key. We popped above that key level here, and then what happened? All right, so just be a little bit careful. But now the 8 days catching up nicely. All right, so what we're looking for here, if we can close above that 37, then obviously we're going to go test that 37.15 level, and then we can take that to that 37.20, which is always, and then we just rally right off 37.15, take it all the way up to 3,800. Very, very possible. But again, that PPI number, CPI number is going to be very, very critical. Okay. Now, what we're watching here on the downside is going to be watching the top of that candle, that 36.55 level. Then we'll come over top of this candle at that 36.40 level. When we come to the bottom here, you're looking at that 36.21. Then we have that 8 day at 36.01. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis. All right. Now, it had that sideways consolidation. Gave it time for that 8 day to catch up. A lot of times it wants to come towards that 8 day like a magnet to a fridge. Now, if we lose that 36.01 level, then we'll come to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at that 35.73, and then we'll just take us all in reverse here, 35.34 level. Then what we can do is we'll come up top of that candle, 35.18, and we come to the bottom. You're looking at 35.06, and we have that 21-day. Go ahead that 50-day, and then we have your 100-day sitting at 33.75 low. But right now, we got to see. It all depends on how these numbers come up. This could be maybe, say, a good time to take some profits if you are kept on it with the long trade. For me, I just trade this. I just trade the GLD. I'm already out of the trade already. So again, that's just how I trade it. I'm not really what you call a gold trader or a silver trader. I'm more oil, natural gas, gasoline, that kind of stuff. Bitcoin, technology. However, when it does start having this run up, then I just get into it and just keep on taking the trades until it just tells me to get the hell out. Okay. Now we look at a weekly chart here. You can see how that overbought condition is. But again, it can stay that way. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of times you want to have that correction. But right now we have this negative divergence going. So you got to be just a little bit careful here on this chart. Now, obviously we have this. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. We have this bottom left upper right here. See at the bottom, and it just kept on creeping right on up. So we lost the 8 day, but look how nice that 21-day has been holding all the way through. Okay, so now we got this all the way up here to this 37.15 level, and that's going to be, we got to see if it can hold that 37 level. Okay, that's going to be key. 3,700 is the key. If you can't hold it, then we'll come down, or maybe even like a sideways action kind of a situation. All right. So again, here on the weekly, you want to hold that 34.81 level, and we want to watch that 33.88 level, because how many times respected, how many times it held in the past. Look at this. It's very, very nice. Look at all the way on down, all the way on down. Okay, so again, this is kind of a lot of very good support. But remember, we got negative divergence going on here, but the green did cross over your red, so we do have momentum. But we're getting here to that nosebleed area, so just be a little bit cautious. Okay, let's take a look here now at GLD. Here we have GLD. Now, this is what I trade here for gold. Okay, to me, it's a very easy way. Now, a lot of people, they go there and they'll buy the gold, but a lot of people don't understand is you got a 5% to buy. I think it's 4% to buy gold, physical gold, and then 4% to sell it. So you're already down 8%. And a lot of people, oh, what's the difference? It rallied all the way up here. Well, I can trade the GLD the same thing. I can, with the huge volume this has, I can be in and out of this trade, and what's the difference? I'm gone and I'm out. That kind of a situation. That's how I like to trade. That's what a trader does, okay? Versus I'm going to pile gold in my house, okay? I mean, that to me, it doesn't make any sense, but to a lot of people, they want that physical commodity. Now, here we topped out here at that 338.31 level. Okay, we made that high. Right now, we're sitting at 335. I'm all out of there at 337. I got out, so I didn't get that high. But what I do is just trade this, because this is what I'm watching right here. Okay, see how this overbought condition is? This is what I'm looking at here all the way into the past. See what happens. Okay, when you get that situation, it comes right on down. So you got to be very, very careful on that situation when you start getting this overbought condition. Now, if you look at these charts, we're going to put them all side by side, and then I'll show you all the nice, good comparisons. So if you're trading GLD, what you really want to watch is this. Obviously, is today's high at 338.31. If you can keep right on going, you can go all the way up here to that 350 level very, very easy. But for me, I say this is getting a little bit long in the tooth for a guy like me, and the risk reward just isn't there. Now, on the downside, you want to watch here. You want to watch yesterday's low. That's that 33.23. There's your gap. And then we have a fill here at 33.44, okay? Then we have another gap. You look at the bottom of the candle, 328.93, and another fill at 327.56, okay? Then we have your 8-day. Then we have another gap all the way down here at 320.24, and then we have your fill at 318.09. So this is Chop City, and then you have 315, 311, and then we have your 308. Just remember, nothing goes up forever, okay? That just always remember. Now, we have a nice, good consolidation, and then she just rallied up here, but you're getting really, really long in a tooth here on this trade. But again, if you can crack 338, then I would probably jump in there and take it to that 350 level. That could be very, very possible. Now, if you take it here on the weekly chart, you can see here how we have this negative divergence going on here, okay? The same thing we had on gold, right? So this is pretty much like a one-for-one situation. Now, okay, we're well up to that 338, but we got to see. Sometimes it's like a possible topping tail situation, and we got a red candle here on your daily. Okay, so you want to be very, very careful. But this is the key level that you got. If it comes down, you want to hold is this 317.63, and then we have your 8-day right there, 316. Then we have your 21-day. Now you can see here how the GLD is the same thing as the gold. See how nice that 21-day held? See? Look how nice that 21-day held. So if you're trading and you want a one-to-one relationship with gold, GLD is going to be the trade for you. All right, let's take a look here now at the miners GDX. Here we have the GDX. Now this is also a very, very good trade. But again, just remember you can't trade everything. So I just traded the actual gold, the GLD, and for silver, the actual SLV. Okay. But now this is pretty much the same thing that's happening here. Okay, so we got this red candle, so you got to be a little bit careful. 67.94. Obviously, this can crack right up here. You can go to that 70, 75, 80 mark here, and you can work your way all the way up to up to 100 there eventually if it keeps right on rolling. But again, we got to just be very, very cautious. So look at yesterday's low, 66.49 is what we're looking at, and then we're going to be looking here at that 64.96 level. Now we have gaps and fills all the way on down here. But again, what you want to watch is just watch the top of that candle, 63.23, and then this is going to be key at 61.60. Then we have that 61.21. Okay, so as this runs on up here, this is always becomes very, very good support, because what it is, take this for example, you got 58.81, okay? And then as it breaks through, if it sells down, then that becomes your support level. Just bring that price channel right across, okay? these price channels are very, very handy kind of a situation. So that's what you're going to be watching then is going to be that 58.81 level. And then we can just venture right on down here until we hit that 50-day and possibly even that 100-day. But right now we're tracking up here very, very nice. Again, very, very nice. Okay, but just watch that 8-day. That's going to be critical on a closing basis. That's 64.96. Once we start losing that, then we just bring those price channels right across, but always watch that 21-day. Very, very critical. Same way here, bring it right across, and then watch that 50-day. Now, when you look at this chart, you can see here how nice that it ran right on up here and it was holding this 50-day. See this? How nice that is? Okay, so if you lose the 8-day 21, then we go to that catch-all, that 50-day holding very, very nice. But right now, when you look at this is nosebleed kind of a situation. So just be very, very careful. So when you look at in the past, when you get to that overbought, what happens? It comes right on down. Okay, so we get to this overbought, what happens? Comes right on down. Same way with here. So just be a little bit careful on what you got going. And the green is way at the top here. So this is not something I would be jumping into as of like right now. Okay, so we look here on a weekly chart. Same thing. Big nosebleed situation, but we had a really, really nice, good run up, and we're hanging in that 8-day situation. But now we can see here how we're just like making big candles, big strides. But we do have a topping tail. We've got to see how this all closes out. Again, if you can crack that 67.94, then you can push that 70 level, 75, and work on our way up here. But I don't know about the risk to reward for this situation. It's not something that I would jump into at this particular time. This was the area, once we start breaking out of this really nice consolidation, then that's the time to break and get into it. Even this consolidation, once you break out of it, that's the time where she runs up. But we could be into a very, very big topping tail situation here on this gold miners. Okay, let's now take a look here, and we'll put them all side by side. Okay, we're going to give you a good comparison. Okay, so there's your actual physical gold, there's your GLD, and then here's your gold miners. Now you can see here, however, all these charts here are pretty much the same. So let's just take a look. So you get RSI here to this overbought, and overbought condition. Okay, so this is not really, this could has room to run up here at the actual gold. But when we look at the miners, this is really way at the top. Okay, situation. Now, when we look at this, see, we have this topping tail going on here. So you got to be very, very critical, or very, very cautious, I should say. Okay, it's very, very critical that you pay attention to what that is. Okay, so we had this really, really good, nice run up, consolidation, and now you're right straight up, right up into the moon. Okay, so just be very careful. See, when you see it had that topping tail situation, then we have a red candle there and we have a red candle here. So just be very, very careful. A lot of times this will run up into the situation like the PPI, CPI number, and then this could dump right on out here. So don't just get caught on the top. Make sure you take profits on your way up. But again, when you look at all the situation, everything is at nosebleed section. Now again, this could go up higher. You crack that 37.15 and 3,700 on a closing basis. Right now you're sitting at 36.81 level real time. You crack that, then you can retest that and you can move on up here. But this is something for me that I would say, boom, this is the time to buy. You know, this is not the time to buy. The time to buy on these, on all of these, is not just the run, but when you get this consolidation, but when you get the breakout of the consolidation, that's the time to buy. That's why I just trade this as it goes along there per day. Now, the GLD, I say, obviously you can see this, is the charts are almost identical. It's just a one-to-one situation. That's why the GLD works very, very good. And then say the gold miners, this is like really extended all the way on out here, because you can see here where your MACD is. You can see where your RSI. This is just getting way, way overextended, and it needs a pullback. Now, I'm not saying that if it does pull back, that could be another good buying opportunity, okay? Or, you know, gold a lot of times will, you know, it runs right on up, and then it just, you know, comes down, and it just sits there, okay? So it just got to be always be very, very, very cautious. Always look at risk to reward when you're trading anything, okay? But I just want to give you the side-by-side view of all of these and how they all look compared to your actual commodity, okay? Take it down a little bit here, okay? See how all these charts look pretty very much the same, okay? You have your run-up, your consolidation, and then boom. Run-up, consolidation, boom. Run-up, consolidation, and then boom situation. So whatever you want to trade, this is the one I trade here because this is the one-to-one, and you can see how it's almost identical to whatever gold's doing, the GLD is doing. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your pit close. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at that Ethereum ETF, I should say, ETHU. And then we'll take a look at gold and silver. And then we'll take a look at crude oil, natural gas, and the indexes, which are, well, the Dow is green, but the rest of it is turning red. All right, trade what's in front of you. Now what you want.